It's Bumper Battle Arena for the Nintendo 64. What a classic. Anyone ever grow up playing this game back in the day? He was also in Diddy Kong Racing. Do you remember this Rareware character? Bumper the Badger? Nah, I'm just kidding. This is a fan-made video game, and this is my fan art for if Bumper the Badger had his very own N64 game other than Diddy Kong Racing. Bumper Battle Arena. For Bumper's game, I decided to give him a red cartridge. This is the cartridge I designed the label for. Red for the red of the colors of Bumper the Badger, his outfit. His red belt buckle, his red belt, his badass red helmet, and his red gloves. So my idea for this game is that Bumper and his buddies throw bombs, use it to defeat the crocodiles, and there's bats flying around, It's kind of like inspired from Bomberman 64, where it's mostly a multiplayer kind of game. I don't know why, I guess a bomb and Bumper kind of fit, because both the letter B and Bumper is the color black. And when bombs explode, it's also the color red. This is my mission to create a solo video game for every single one of the Diddy Kong Racing classic characters from the 90s. And Bumper is actually my favorite. He's my favorite character in Diddy Kong Racing. And I wish they did more with the character. Technically, Bumper actually did appear in a second video game because I think he is a piece of art that you can move around in the Mario Artist games released for the N64 DD in Japan only. So technically, Bumper did actually appear in 2 video games. Here's the side label and the back of the box. Bumper the Badger breaks from the time-honored Badger traditions of burrowing and sleeping 20 hours a day. He loves taking things to the next level. Bumper and his Badger buddies love to have battles in the jungles of Timbers Island. There's much competition from using airplanes and bombs. Their greatest enemy is the sinister crocodiles that search among the island, always ready to attack. Bumper has convinced his buddies to have competition and adventure, because unlike most of his kind, Bumper prefers speed and thrills to a quiet nocturnal lifestyle. 1996 would be my ideal release date for Bumper Battle Arena. This would make Bumper one of the first stars of the N64. And Bumper Battle Arena would have been one of the first Nintendo 64 games. It would have been amazing if this game was released before Diddy Kong Racing, to get people familiar with Bumper. I researched a lot of stuff about badgers when creating the concept for this game, and most badgers do sleep a lot. And that's one of the things I learned about them. Also, the final part that I wrote here is actually from the Diddy Kong Racing manual, describing Bumper's personality traits. Because unlike most of his kind, Bumper prefers speed and thrills to a quiet nocturnal lifestyle. So Bumper is all about adventure, speed, and thrills, which is really badass. And that's one of the things I love about Bumper, is that he's a badass character. He's always wearing his fly helmet. And the first time we see him in Diddy Kong Racing, he's flying an airplane. Which is why my idea for the game would be you can throw bombs at one another, for fun, and kill the crocodiles, possibly as a story, but it's mostly a multiplayer Bomberman-like game with Bumper and friends, like the other Badgers, which could be colored differently. Bumper should be the only one that has a helmet, and that's why I included Bumper having a plane on the front cover. There could be a multiplayer part in the game where you could fly planes and bomb the crocodiles, bomb each other in the multiplayer mode, and that's why I added the 4 controllers here. I also thought it was kind of charming that I added the firefly insect or whatever next to Bumper here, Dragonfly. Found it to be similar to Sparks the Dragonfly from Spyro the Dragon, how Sparks and Spyro were like best friends. And here Bumper is giving the thumbs up and he's kind of pointing to this little dragonfly over here. So I always associated the airplane with Bumper the Badger. I always thought it was so badass seeing him fly that airplane in the intro to Diddy Kong Racing growing up as a kid. Since Bumper is all about thrills and speed, him flying an airplane, it's not scary to him. To him, it's like a thrill ride. I also loved how I added the text here for Battle Arena to look very 90s looking. It's very edgy and a very 90s look to it, right? It's like the Attitude Era logo for WWF, which was almost happening at this time period. I also mentioned Timbers Island because technically we could say that Bumper lives there. Why not? They kind of implied that he lives there based on the story of Diddy Kong Racing within the manual for Diddy Kong Racing. Introducing Bumper Battle Arena for the Nintendo 64. Get in or get out. I love the red cartridge I gave to Bumper here. I could have made all the cartridges gray for all the Diddy Kong Racing characters to have their own games, but why not make it special for Bumper, since he's pretty much my favorite. Thanks for watching, guys. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. My name is SuperPat98, and thank you so much for watching! Have a great Bumper Day!